Hi, everybody. It's Miss Cole again with more grammar. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the basic parts of speech, the verb. Verbs are amazingly useful and versatile. However, they're also incredibly tricksy. One way of classifying verbs is whether they are action verbs or linking verbs. Action verbs are words that show the action of the subject. They walk, I read, she argues, we dance. Linking verbs connect the subject to a word or phrase in the predicate that renames or describes it. I am a teacher. You are the audience. He is happy. We become hopeful. Another way of classifying verbs is whether they're simple verbs, which work pretty independently, or if they're helping verbs or main verbs, which work together to form verb phrases. This is the classification we're going to explore in this video. And to make it easier to focus on this particular category, all of the examples are going to be from action verbs, as they tend to be easier to identify and categorize. So, a simple action verb shows the action of the subject in a single word. She works at Taco Bell. The student asks a question. The posters hang on the wall. Politicians usually think about their words carefully. The dog chews on the bone. You like chocolate chip cookies best. Simple action verbs are fairly straightforward, and I rarely see mistakes in their use. They're clear and often vivid, but at the same time, they don't offer a lot of complexity or depth. Verb phrases are made up of a main verb, which is kind of the anchor to the phrase, and one or more helping verbs. In standard English, you can have up to 3 helping verbs in the same phrase. But if you're being more casual, you get more flexibility, such as, he might should have been paying better attention. In this example, might, should, have, and been are all being used as helping verbs, with the main verb, paying. The standard version would be, he should have been paying better attention. Side note, it's important to realize that it's not a moral failing to use non-standard English. In fact, there are different kinds of dialects and styles that are appropriate in different kinds of situations. However, it's also important to understand that our communication style is one of the first ways that other people judge us. So it can be very helpful to be comfortable in a variety of styles and to be able to switch between them as needed, given the situation. One of the things that I like about verb phrases is that they follow some consistent rules. First of all, there are 23 words that can be used as helping verbs. Am, is, are, was, were. Be, being, been. Do, did, does. Have, has, had. May, might, must. Can, could. Shall, should. Will, would. That's it. That's all there are. No other words in standard English can be used as helping verbs. Second, the main verb is always at the end of the verb phrase. This means that everything in the verb phrase, other than the main verb, has to be one of those 23 words. Verb phrases such as am going, had seen, do try, may tell, must reach, must have reached, did write, will wait, will have waited, will have been waiting. Number 3. This is where things start to get a little more complicated. Some of the helping verbs can be used in other ways. They can be simple verbs. I did my chores. He had a car. They can the peaches. Yeah, that last one's correct. Number 4. Additionally, some helping verbs can even be used as the main verb in a verb phrase, with other helping verbs as the helping verbs. Examples: I have been here all day. He has had that car for over a year. They will can the peaches. In fact, you could even say, can they can peaches? Can you can peaches? I can peaches.
When you think you can't, you'll find you can. Everyone can. You can too.
In this case, however, can is being used as a simple verb as well as a noun, referring to the dance known as the can-can, first popularized in Paris in the 1830s and 40s. Now you know. Getting back on track. 5th, don't assume that just because there's more than one verb in a sentence, that it's a verb phrase. Look for helping verbs and decide whether or not the verbs are working together as one unit. Example, we can make pie. That's a verb phrase. A non-example is we can peaches and make pie. That's 2 simple verbs. Sixth, watch out for words that interrupt the verb phrase. Again, for it to be a verb phrase, the verbs should work together as a single unit. Example, they did not want to go to the movies. This example brings up a few complications. First of all, there are multiple words that are verbs, but there are words in between that aren't verbs. In the verb phrase, did not want to go, that's not a verb phrase. First of all, not is an adverb. Adverbs are words that are used to modify or tweak the meaning of adjectives, other adverbs, and verbs. We'll look at them in more detail in another video. The key here is that only verbs are a part of the verb phrase. This helps us to stay consistent and strengthen our skill at identifying verbs. On the other hand, go is actually a verb. However, it can't be part of this verb phrase because the main verb is want. We know this because it's at the end of the phrase. It's a verb, and it's not on the helping verbs list, so the verb phrase can't continue past it. That helps us understand that go isn't part of this phrase. It's doing its own thing. Number 7, compounds. Very, very rarely, you actually can have more than one main verb in a verb phrase. The key is that both main verbs are working with the helping verbs. They'll be joined by a coordinating conjunction, one of the fanboys. Again, we'll go into coordinating conjunctions in more detail in a different video. An example of this is, they did not want or need to go to the movies. In this example, the helping verb did works with both want and need as its main verbs. You won't see this very often, but if you're familiar with helping verbs, main verbs, and verb phrases, you'll be able to recognize the structure when you do see it. That was a lot, I know. But it's something that's fundamental to the language. Effectively using verb phrases gives you a lot more flexibility in how you get your ideas across. The most important concept, which is going to come up pretty regularly, is to pay attention to how the words are used. You can't just lock in on this word is a helping verb and that's it, because a lot of words, and this doesn't just apply to verbs, can be used in different ways. It definitely creates challenges in correctly using standard English, but at the same time, it provides opportunities for being imaginative and creative and playful, for pushing against the boundaries of the rules and seeing just how far they stretch or twist. And that's just one of many, many things that keeps life interesting. Bye for now.